Jack Dela knocks out Gilbert Burns with a knee. Was this a lucky knee, or was it calculated? Smart fight IQ using his big brain. We're about to find out. What is going on, guys? It is Dylan the Machete here, professional Muay Thai fighter, amateur MMA fighter, and training out of Bangtan Muay Thai MMA in Thailand. Woo! And Australian. We had an Australian fight on the card, UFC 299, Jack Dela. Fun fact, one of my boys, Darcy Vendy, he beat Jack Dela a long time ago. That's beside the point. Jack Dela is in the UFC. He's fighting in the top 15, and he just beat one of a very good name, named Gilbert Burns. You might have heard of him. You might have not, but you should know him because he is a weapon, and Jack Dela just knocked him out. So, what happened in this fight? So, my prediction going into the fight was that Jack Dela was going to knock out Gilbert Burns within the first 2 rounds, and he ended up knocking him out in the third. So he had a very good first round where he was just keeping Gilbert Burns along with the jab, and his boxing, man, is so good. Like Jack Dela's boxing, his body shots, his punching, and it really started to look like probably the first 2 to 3 minutes into the fight, you could just see that there was different levels with the striking. Gilbert Burns looked very tense, looked very rigidy, looked very almost scared. I'm not going to say he was scared because fighters are obviously not scared because this is their job, but he looked very worried about what was coming at him and what Jack Dela was going to do to him. Jack Dela started he was really good at switching stance. I'm pretty sure he spent most of the fight in southpaw, from my memory, but yeah, he did a great job. Won the first round pretty clearly. Won most of the second round, then got taken down. Good ground and pound landed on him, and ended up getting put in a backpack position, and ended up losing the second round, in my opinion. But Jack Dela really did show some amazing wrestling, and it's really good to see that Australian level wrestling is getting a lot better, especially the wrestling defense. Whether that's coming from Thailand because of the Hickman brothers and Aussies bring it back, or whether it's coming from guys going to America and bringing it back, I'm not entirely sure, but it's really good to know, and it's really good to see that Australian guys are getting good wrestling now. You know, they're not just a bunch of kickboxers or boxers that have learned jiu-jitsu. It really seems that Australian MMA is really growing, and it's really good to see that. But yeah, going into the third and final round, this fight was pretty much it was going to be determined on this last round. And they get into a striking exchange. They end up going to the ground, grappling, and Gilbert Burns held Jack down for about a minute or two, and it really looked like he was just going to hold him down there for the rest of the time. And Jack Dela creates a scramble, and they end up getting to their feet, and then Gilbert shoots in, and Jack lands a massive knee that put Gilbert on the ground and ended up landing a few too many blows. The referee definitely should have stopped it earlier because Gilbert was out of it. He didn't need to take an extra 5 or 10 shots, but I guess the referees just want to let the fighters fight. But I'm always of the opinion that a fight is better stopped early than late, because at the end of the day, these guys, especially older guys like Gilbert Burns, they don't have a lot of fights left in them, and every fight could be your last fight if a fight gets stopped too late. But was this a lucky shot? I really don't believe it was. I believe this was really smart and really intelligent fight IQ from Jack Dela. And why do I say that? Because when you've got someone like Gilbert Burns, that his natural instinct, he's from Brazil, his natural instinct is going to be grappling. So when you get into those tired scrambles, and Jack, what someone like me, because I'm not as an experienced of an MMA fighter yet, I will get there, but what I would do if I get out of a scramble like that, I would just stuff the head, push, and run. That's my kind of go-to. I don't want to be in those wrestling scrambles. I want to be striking. I want to keep long. I want to be hitting you with shots, and I want to make you scared of my striking. I don't want to be in those grappling exchanges. But someone like Jack, he knew that Gilbert Burns was going to shoot, because that's just where Gilbert is most comfortable. So as he got out of that scramble, he turned around. First thing he does, he turns around and he throws a knee. I don't even know if he saw Gilbert shooting or if he just expected Gilbert to shoot, but landing a knee like that was such a smart move of Jack, and it really shows that he is a very intelligent dude. He knows the game of MMA, and he's been doing it for such a long time. He lost his first 2 MMA fights, his first 2 pro fights, but he's obviously come down. Now he's fighting he has to be ranked in the top 10 after that fight, after beating Gilbert. And I would honestly love to see a fight with him and Wonderboy next. That just came to my head. But him, Wonderboy, or him and Ian Gary, those are 2 really good fights that I think would be very entertaining. 2 strikers going at it. I think him versus Wonderboy is probably a tougher fight than him versus Ian Gary. just because of the kicks of Wonderboy. And I really think that Ian Gary doesn't have much of a chin because we've seen him get knocked down. He's got a small little head. He's obviously on a vegan diet now. And yeah, if you're on those vegan diets and you're a fighter, you're not going to be producing as much testosterone. You're not going to be as aggressive. We saw that in Ian Gary's last fight. Like, his body looked flabby. And I just think that Jack Dela is going to do what he needs to do and get the job done against Ian Gary if that's what they decide to do next. Wonderboy is a lot harder of a fight. I can't really predict that at the moment. I haven't really thought about it. These are just two things that popped in my head. But yeah, it's awesome to see the Aussie talent of MMA coming through, and someone like Jack Dela showing that Australia is a force to be reckoned with in the MMA scene. So let me know what you think about my takes, guys. What do you want to see next for Jack Della Maddalena and Gilbert Burns? Comment below. Let me know. Make sure you go check out my video on Sean O'Malley. Make sure you go check out my story. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Follow me on all socials.